Hi, I'm Brian Worley for the Photographer Academy, and in this video we're going to talk about focus modes and focus points. Your camera probably has a multitude of focus modes, but they can break it down into two main types. The focus modes you use that most of the time are one shot, whereby when you press the shutter button halfway down, the camera will focus, will lock onto your subject. That gives you the ability to recompose. The other focus mode is what they call servo focus or tracking focus. And what happens here is when you half press the shutter, the camera focuses on your subject and then keeps tracking it. So as your subject moves, the camera keeps changing its focus so that the pictures are in focus as you take them. Quite often this is used for sports, maybe children running around in the garden, another example where you've got really rapid moving subjects, and you might combine that with the continuous shooting modes as well. Like most cameras, this one's got 9 AF points to choose from. So there's 9 individual specific points around the frame where you can select the point of focus. If you don't choose a single point, you can set the camera to make the selection for you. All of the cameras will choose the closest subject to the lens that it can focus on. So if you've got a subject that's right in the front of the picture and you're aiming for something in the background, selecting a single point will let you determine where the focus point is within your frame. So let me show you how you change and select focus points. So this is the focus point selection button. Pressing this one will call up the display which allows us to change our focus point. And now by rolling the front dial, we can choose individual focus points around the frame, and they highlight to show us which one we've chosen. So we're going to roll back to the middle, but we're going to choose just the center point. So now we've chosen our single point. In this case I've chosen the center one, and so what we happen to do is when you press the shutter, you squeeze it gently, that beep indicates that the camera's locked focus and also locked exposure. So now you can actually recompose, you can change your composition and just squeeze the shutter down from there and it will take the picture. So now we've used that, we're going to use the tracking focus. So we're going to change the focus to servo on this camera, and we're going to go and find a moving subject and again use that single point of focus so we know exactly where in the frame we're going to track from. We're going to shoot our moving subject and shoot a sequence of pictures as the subject moves towards us. So I'm going to press the AF settings button, and now I need to roll the focus over to the servo mode, which is the tracking focus. AI focus, which is in the middle there, actually is an intelligent mode that automatically switches between one shot and servo focus, but since I know I'm tracking a moving subject, I'm going to definitely choose the servo focus mode. And now actually when I half press, the lens will start focusing, but I don't get a beep. That's because it's continuously tracking my subject, so you don't get the beeps with the servo modes. So here we're going to use the tracking focus on a Canon that's called AI Servo, and what that does is it continuously tracks the movement of your subject, whether it's coming towards the camera or going away, and anticipates, so it's intelligent, it determines the speed the subject's moving and will move the lens the right amount so that each frame in the sequence is correctly in focus. So I'm going to use a single point of focus. I'm going to try and keep that point on my subject to help me position it in the frame. Okay, let's take a few pictures. We've got a boat in the water just behind us, and we're going to use that boat as our subject's track as it comes towards us. So as you can see, what the camera's done is it's tracked the boat as it's moved towards us, and it's kept it sharp because I've kept the AF point on the body of the boat. When I was tracking the boat, I used a single focus point right at the center of the frame. This camera has a group of 9 focusing points, and you can select to have all of them active or just a single one. By choosing a single point in this case, I'm able to be sure where the camera is focusing, and so I can by moving the camera, I keep it tracking the subject. If you want to use more focus points, they give you a broader coverage, so you can hit your target a little bit easier, but it's a little bit less specific as to which part of the subject it's focused on. If you're going to shoot something where the depth of field is quite narrow, and you say you want to focus on the eye, it's quite important to use a single point, because that way you ensure you know where the AF is active. Now this camera's also got an automatic focus, what they call AI focus. And what that does is it switches by detecting the subject's moved, so it switches from the single shot, the one shot focus, to the servo tracking focus modes automatically for you. Most of the time, it's better to choose the specific mode. So if you need the one shot and you've got a static subject, choose it. And if you need the tracking focus, choose the servo or the tracking focus mode. I'm Brian Worley for the Photographer Academy, and I'll see you in the next video.